Hello everybody, welcome back. I am so sorry I scared you. I tend to do that, but mostly when people look at me, not when I speak. You should see my mirror at home. Sometimes it definitely screams in the fetal position at me. So everyone over here that is lining up for the cosplay parade, I just like to let everyone know for the cosplay parade, please come over here at 1:45 p.m. because the cosplay contest will begin at 2 p.m. So at 1:45 is when they'll start setting up the parade, and then 2 o'clock, I think, right off the bat, you'll have the parade and stuff like that. Yep. So she's the boss on that one, not me. I just manage the stage. Which then makes me do the joke of I'm here because I'm supposed to be the pretty one. But
that's right. We heard Mike that you were the pretty one on stage today.
I mean, I do look like Captain Caveman. It's okay. But anyways, enough about me, because no one cares about me when I'm up here. It's about the guest. I have Joe and Rogue from Superhero Support to talk about cosplay and consent. So real quick, just do quick introductions, and then Joe, I know you have slides.
Yes, so I am Joe Flores. I am Wonder Woman. I'm the COO of Superhero Support Incorporated. And next to me,
I'm Sonia. I'm cosplaying as Ro from X-Men. I'm a volunteer with Superhero Support Cosplayers Inc.
all right.
All yours.
All right, so thanks everybody for coming tonight. We wanted to have a discussion about cosplay and consent. As you know, we come out here in all sorts of costumes, but that does not mean that if we're in a costume that is consent to touch someone, to take their picture, or to say anything obscene and or rude. So first, I want to say cosplay is an art form. It is a way that many people express themselves, express their creativity, and sometimes even manage to work through some issues that they may be having in cosplay. So whenever folks are in cosplay, we want to make sure that we're establishing a safe environment for them. So just to kick it off, I just want to read you what consent actually is. And I like to read this so that it sinks in people's mind, especially as we have younger cosplayers in the audience. Consent is a fundamental aspect of any social interaction, including in the cosplay community. Consent is the voluntary and enthusiastic agreement to participate in an activity or event. It must be given freely and without coercion, and it can be withdrawn at any time. This means that if you're in cosplay and someone asks to take your picture and you say no, that is the end of that conversation, okay? You walk away. As a cosplayer, we encounter all sorts of situations that are uncomfortable, and we want to make sure that anybody coming behind us doesn't have to deal with that. So Rogue, anything you can share about that?
Yes, it involves like a person, a costume, or also a prop. Like, not because it's a thing, anybody is allowed to just come touch it. You need to ask if it's allowed to grab it.
So, just so you're not allowed to go touch anybody. So, if there is physical interaction, it has to be with respect. Respect personal space and boundaries, even during photo shoots. As I always say, if you're talking to somebody, I know there are lots of fans, but make sure that you're keeping this much distance between you and that cosplayer. Arm's length. If that person cannot extend their arm, you are too close. Okay? Now,
I'm sorry, we're too
yes.
close.
You know, I have the last little treat for you later.
As long as it's after 2, it's okay.
Okay. So, keep that in mind. Keep your distance. Now, as cosplayers, sometimes there are hugs. And if you've seen me on social media, I always post, Wonder Woman will be there. Make sure you ask for a hug. Because I will hug fans. And it's okay, but they ask for it, and I have the option now to say no. Okay? Photographs. Everybody has a cell phone. So, close. Now, Rogue, have you ever encountered one of those without someone asking for consent? How does that make you feel?
It has happened before. I've been very mindful that I am part of this group that we want to have people take pictures with us. So I am conscious and like if I am not comfortable, like I step out of the group. But if I am in the group, I am prepared for this. But some people might not be prepared. So if you see somebody and you sneak back, that's not consent.
And also keep in mind compliments. It's okay. Please, you can be sincere and kind. There is no reason to be rude to a cosplayer because maybe you don't like their cosplay or their interpretation of their cosplay. As you know, I'm dressed as Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is an Amazon. Evidently, Wonder Woman in this universe, me, is not an Amazon. So my cape is not the traditional cape because I am not that tall, right? So to keep me safe, I wear a shorter one. So I will not tolerate someone speaking ill of Wonder Woman or me in the suit because it looks a little different. Because we want to make sure that it fits who we are as well, okay? Now, anybody out there have encountered any issues with cosplay and consent or have concerns or questions about how to interact with a cosplayer?
I mean, I had a moment at a Caps game while wearing a kilt.
Let's say that again.
I had a moment at a Capitals game while wearing a kilt.
Oh, and how's that?
I mean, I had a girl reach around from behind and
Oh,
with her boyfriend right there.
okay. So,
Now, I did not consent to that, for the record. I was walking through a concession stand to get food, and that's what happened. So, it happens to guys too.
and I'm glad that you brought that up because it happens to both men and women. Please, just make sure you're respectful. Someone's gender does not mean, oh, it's okay to party. So even though it was mine, it is not okay. You need consent.
Oh, I get the right to consent too? Yay!
Yes, you do. Okay, so you all may have heard the expression, cosplay is not consent. Yes? No? Have you heard it? Yes.
I think Riddle, she was actually putting stuff out for that at AwesomeCon when she was there a few years ago. I know of other cosplayers in this area who have worked in that as well. I think I still have that business card at home somewhere.
Fantastic, because here's the thing, it has become a movement. It is very difficult for cosplayers to go out there if they're not safe. And keep in mind, there are a lot of cosplayers that are very young, and we want to make sure that they're staying safe. So, when you're out there, remember, cosplay is not consent. If someone is behaving in a manner that is not appropriate, shout it out. Cosplay is not consent. If somebody says something strange, you just say, Wonder Woman said I could. It gets you out all the time, out of trouble. Any comments on this topic for anybody? I know I see people of all ages out here, some in cosplay, some not, or concerns of being in cosplay.
We haven't had the most questioning crowd today.
Oh no, no questions. Okay, quiet choir.
So, but please feel free to ask questions.
Okay,
We
other
got.
questions?
Notice how I say that, and people start raising their hands.
Hi. So I have a friend who, when she was younger, worked with her mom as a clown, and she's noticed, because she also does cosplay, that kind of the same thing is you become not a person to a lot of people, you become more of an object, and they feel like they can just do whatever.
Yes, and that is, it's problematic. A costume does not mean you can objectify that person, regardless of what the cosplay is. So please keep that in mind. Respect. Keep in mind, this could be your mother, your little sister, your brother, and you don't want to put them in a bad situation.
Yeah. I know that California has
bigger conventions with cosplay in it. Do you know if California has any specific laws or if any other states have written specific laws about this?
I personally don't know.
I'm not aware of any laws, but one thing I can say as someone who talks to a lot of con chairs and stuff like that is that they do their best to put rules in place within the con, make sure that the signage or that type of stuff is in full display. And it's even now, like, I mean, I can't do it on this one because it's just says staff, so it doesn't have information. But if you go to like an Awesome Con or, you know, one of those other conventions, they'll have that stuff on their badge. So like the front will be like your 3-day whatever, and then on the other side will have like hours and rules and stuff like that. So it's not really something in regards to laws with states or federal or anything like that. It's more about how the convention itself governs itself and those type of things.
Thank you for that. Yes. So it's important to set boundaries as cosplayers, to set boundaries, and if we have cosplayers around us, to let them know that it is okay to set those boundaries. So did you have set any boundaries?
Of course, it's very important to have your own boundaries and like you have the confidence, like, okay, this is my space, this is my cosplay, and everybody should respect me. And at the same way, I'm going to respect other people. It doesn't matter the place or the time. So yeah, of course.
So it's okay to say no. Whenever I talk to younger cosplayers, I always remind them, you know what, saying no to someone is not going to kill them. We've heard no before, so if they don't get that picture, it's okay. It is not your responsibility to be there to make that person happy. So if they're making you feel uncomfortable, say no. If they're standing too close and you reach out your arm, you can say, okay, that is way too close. And you back up until it is a comfortable space for you. If you're in a place where you don't feel comfortable and you're at, let's say, a con, first, I want to recommend never go to a con by yourself. Always go with friends or a group, but there are always con staff. Go to a con staffer and say that you're having a problem with someone. Yes?
You know how frequently there are problems.
Hold on, let me get the mic to you.
Are you aware of how frequently they have problems, like at the recent Awesome Con? Or, you know, if there were problems there?
I don't know that there were any problems at AwesomeCon, but just from observations, I see interactions, especially with younger cosplayers, where I'll step in and say, hey, you want me in the picture? Because it's different to get in my face than to get into a little girl's face.
I think the other thing is that you have to keep in mind, like, look at this con right here. This is a first-year con. This is a small con, so it's a lot easier to kind of moderate how you do things. Whereas at AwesomeCon, you're bringing in around 70 to 80,000 people. Otakon is bringing in around 70 to 80,000 people. San Diego Comic-Con brings in around 150,000 people. You know, so when you have these much bigger conventions, like an AwesomeCon and Otakon in San Diego, New York, it's a lot harder to do that type of moderation. So it's not necessarily the convention did something wrong. It's just that they just can't get enough people in place to try to prevent that type of stuff, because it is a very hard thing to do. Which is why, like what Joe said, you know, come in a group, you know, have a friend with you, stuff like that. You know, that's always kind of a key thing. Like me, it's okay for me to travel by myself because I'm not a cosplayer. But if one
You
of my
should
friends,
always have a buddy with you anyway.
but if one of my friends is cosplaying and they're like, hey, I don't feel comfortable with this or something, can you be with me? I'm like, sure, no problem. Because that's what friends do for friends. So it's not necessarily about the convention itself, it's more about how we can kind of govern ourselves a little bit on that.
Absolutely, and that's why these smaller cons are so important, because we get to learn a lot. Because we're in a smaller crowd, you can go and talk to different cosplayers and get their take on something, but you get to learn a little bit of what's acceptable and what's not once you go to a bigger con. You want to share on that?
One thing is like, for example, if you see a cosplayer eating, sitting down eating, well, So probably it's more clear that this person is not ready for a picture. So of course you can see the environment. If the person is already posing, you probably will be more accept the answer is going to be yes if you ask for a picture. But if the person is sitting down, resting, taking a break, eating, it's probably more likely to be a no. So you need to learn to handle your reaction and learn to know when will be the best moment to ask for a picture too. So be mindful of the other person.
That's a good point, because that's one of those boundaries. We were at a con, and there I am. I haven't eaten all day, and I am with a burger in my mouth, and someone say, "Oh, Wonder Woman, can I take a picture?" No, not right now. If you let me finish and come find me, we can take a picture.
I love that. It seems like there's a time frame where we call it con season,
Yes.
where you'll see, like, I'm in the Cosplayer Nation Facebook group and stuff like that, and you'll see those pictures when conventions really start piling on. Like, there's a period, I think it's like, what, April for like September or something like that, where it's a big pile on. And you'll see a picture of a cosplayer sitting down that they probably may not have consented to. And in that picture, they'll take it and they'll share it and they'll go, "Listen, if you see me sitting down, don't come to me, please, because I'm probably tired." And for the women, they wear heels and stuff like that. Hey guys, can you imagine walking around a con wearing heels for 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours in a day? That hurts you after a while. So it's you have that some consideration of the person. They may be taking a break because they need it.
Absolutely. But you can also ask cosplayers what their tricks are to stay in those heels for so long. But
I don't want to know.
you don't want to know.
I don't need to know right this second.
Okay. Well, maybe for next time. So the big thing is we want to make sure that as a community we establish a safe place for cosplayers. Whether they're, and I will make a distinction, there are cosplayers, C-O-S players. Those are people that put on costumes and they go to cons, and then there are cosplayers, C-A-U-S-E, which is what we do, because we suit up for causes. Okay, so let's see. So Sonia, if you had to give advice to a young cosplayer to stay safe, what would be your advice?
Always be mindful of your surroundings. Don't be distracted on your phone or things. Always you have to be smart, street smart all the time. If you're by yourself because your friends are eating or somewhere else, you still have to be more aware. And yeah, be confident that you have power to say no, and there's gonna be security that you can reach to if something happens. Don't be afraid and enjoy, because we're here to be safe. We're a community. We want everybody to be safe and have fun. So that will be, I would say.
We have a question.
What's your name, bud?
Andrew. Hi. I'm Andrew 1, yeah. He's Andrew 2.
All right, Andrew 1, what's up?
No, he's not Andrew 2. Anyway, that's wrong. I do have a bit of a curiosity. In today's environment of wide open social media, what in particular are your advice for representing the images? If I take a picture with you, I might want to put it on Facebook or wherever else, but you might not want to do it. How am I to know that? I mean, it's weird. What are the boundaries for that? You can end up all over the internet.
That's a very good point. And here's the thing. If you're in a public place and your picture is taken, there's not much we can do. However, as a community of cosplayers, if we're asking for permission, if that picture is taken, you are giving a certain level of consent that that picture can show up in lots of places. So, go ahead.
Yeah, it's something to throw out there. Obviously we don't have that here for this, but if you say you go to Capital One Arena, you're going for AEW Dynamite or a concert or WWE or a Caps or Wizards game, they actually have signs on the doors that say the moment you enter these doors, you give consent for your image to be taken, via picture or video, that can then be used for marketing for whatever that event is and stuff like that. So So like if you're here, in a way, by buying a badge to come here, you're consenting to have your picture taken or be videoed. So when we create our promotional material for next year's convention, you know, we can technically use it because you are here. So that's something to also kind of keep in mind. Like when you do go to venues, like kind of keep an eye out for that, because that is something that is posted at a lot of venues, and I know Capital One Arena is one of them.
Yeah, good question. Any other questions?
I will literally run to you. It is the only exercise I've been getting all day.
Does anybody want to see Mike run? That's a, you know, come on, nothing.
If you want to see Mike run, cheer. If you wanted one cheer. If you want to see Mike stay here and look lazy, just boo.
Oh wait, we got a question back there. Marcus has a question.
Marcus, you're too far away. Just kidding. Let's see how far we can test this. We never actually tested the mic, how far we can actually go. So let's try this without getting any feedback and making it awkward or anything. Oh, I mean, it's me. It's already awkward as is, but you know. What's up, Marcus?
Honestly, I didn't have a question. I just wanted to see him run.
I love it.
I still love you.
That is great. So, just remember that cosplay is a wonderful creative outlet, and we want to ensure that it is a safe and respectful place for everyone. If you are a cosplayer, just make sure you have, I'll say, all your ducks in a row, meaning you know your boundaries, you know to say no, and that you have a friend or a buddy to go to cons with. If you are an adult that has a cosplayer in your life and you want to support them, make sure that you let them know it's okay to say no. If you need advice, reach out to some of the larger cosplay groups. So our group is Superhero Support. We get lots of questions from parents about how to help their young cosplayer get into the scene or go to a con, where to get a costume and that sort of thing. So know that there are resources available out there to ensure that we're all staying safe. But we want to make sure that as a group, we let them know it's okay, say no. It's okay to have boundaries. We're here to support you. Anything else?
Probably the last thing I want to say is we are all at the convention, even if it's the first time, 5 times, 20 times, we are all geeks and we love the environment, we have fun. But we are learning things here, and we want to take that with the community outside. Like, did you step outside the street and you see somebody else taking a picture of somebody, like, probably right here? Like, they just came out of the convention, still in cosplay, and a stranger in the street just want to take the picture. You're just like, you just heard here that it's not okay. You need to ask for these people. So you want to share with outside the convention community, because people cosplayers, we are going to be in the street too. So that would be my take. Taking this and sharing it with other people in your lives that you care about to be safe.
Absolutely, yes, because we have left a fundraising event in our cosplay, and it can take us an hour to get to our cars because we will get stuck. Can we take a picture? Yes, just give us a second. Let us finish here. So just know that creating this community goes beyond the doors of any convention.
So we're going to wrap up in a minute, but I want to throw this out there with a mini story. One thing also, if you do like take pictures of the cosplayers, like they give you the permission, ask them where you can find them on social media, so you can also tag them in the photos. That way they can also have access to those photos. And the reason I say this is because I was in Philadelphia last month for Ranger Station, which is the Power Rangers convention. Because for those who may not know, this is the 30th anniversary of Power Rangers. And Amy Roll, who is the actress who played Trakina in Lost Galaxy, she actually cosplayed in her actual character from the TV show. So I asked her if I could take pictures, but then also video, where I did a 360 thing where I walked around her and did this 360 shot of her. By the way, especially when it's a woman and you're a dude, always ask if that's okay to make sure they're okay with it. But the one thing I told her was, like, what's your Instagram or whatever, so I can share that with you so you can have it. Which then, once the convention was over, she was able to share it on her social media and stuff like that. You know, so that type of stuff, especially if you're doing to help other cosplayers, they're more willing to consent to have you take their picture, or maybe shoot like a 360 video or something like that with them. You know, as long as obviously it's appropriate and stuff like that too. So that's something that, you know, that's a great way because it also helps promote that.
Yes, thank you, Mike. So the last thing I'll say is if you had your picture taken with our superhero support, please tag us at superhero support cosplayers. It'd be greatly appreciated. You guys have been awesome. Thank you.
And then they'll be back up here at 2 o'clock for the cosplay contest. She will literally kick me off the stage. My time of servitude will finally be done.